Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. This is my pre-market report. Let's start off with this, and don't take my word for anything ever. I want you to do your own research. That is important. But dozens and dozens and dozens of banks are now filing to shut down. Let me say this too. The biggest secret, and I mean this, the biggest secret being held from the general public right now is the abysmal situation that there is or has been developing for a while now with regard to the banks. The financial system is crumbling around us. It's illiquid, it's insolvent, it's operating off of a zero reserve system now. There's no such thing as a fractional reserve. You know what that means, fractional reserve? You know what? I'm not going to tell you because I want you to look it up for yourself. You got to do your own homework once in a while, okay? But this issue with the banks, people, you and me started to talk about this over a year ago before anybody else. Remember, I said no loans, no deals, no deposits. Okay, it just made sense to me that if we knew that was going on, because the economy is in free fall, that the banks were eventually going to start to suffer. We watched regional banks. We saw what happened over there. That's not done either. Not only are we going to see a lot more bank closures moving forward, and I mean a lot more, and we're not allowed to know which institutions these are. If you were to call your bank today and ask, are you solvent? Are you going to be closing? They can't tell you yes or no. More than likely, they're going to lie to you and tell you that they're fine. But they do this on purpose. They shut the doors so you're locked out, and then all of a sudden the panic sets in, and then they tell you where they moved your cash, or wherever it might be, or they closed your account. So jump in front of this. Look, how do I say this another way, people? Don't keep any cash in any institution unless you need to. We must participate in the system they've set up, unfortunately. All right. So in my view, and again, do your own research on this, credit unions are safer because they don't take the risk that the regular commercial banks do. These operate, credit unions, not for profit. They don't have any derivative exposure. So I'm not saying these are 100% safe. All right, but they're safer. And again, going back to what we found out, I don't know, a month ago, the FDIC is aware of hundreds and hundreds of banks that are going to close. Maybe even thousands, but we are not allowed to know which banks these are. It's above our pay grade. It's privileged information. And that word privileged, as I've told you a million times, bothers me. That means some people are allowed to know, but not you. Or me, or anyone that keeps our cash in these institutions is insane. Tell me again how we have representation, how our politicians really care about us. We have a completely dysfunctional government. We don't even have a government. The Federal Reserve is the government. You and I, we're just being strung along here, like everybody else, being led to the slaughter. But at least you and I are staying ahead of the curve on all this, realizing what's happening. So again, look it up for yourself. Last week, 64 banks alone filed to shut down here. This is what's going to happen. And it's exactly what you and I have outlined already. We're going to see a consolidation of power. These smaller banks are going to be absorbed by the bigger institutions, consolidating power into fewer and fewer institutions. It's about control. It's a setup for the new system that you and I have been speaking about that's going to come for I don't know how long. I've been saying two things: a whole new set of rules and a new paradigm. This is coming, all right? But think about what this means. Don't blow this stuff off. Do you want to end up in a situation where you find out that your bank has closed and all of a sudden you don't have access to anything? It's going to happen anyway. But you got to stay ahead of this. You got to jump ahead of it. If you have to keep your cash in a big institution, I don't know why you need to do this, but if you have to, look at the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans. They're not going to close. Yeah, let me explain something to you about JP Morgan, especially. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, he's in bed with our so-called politicians. If you notice something, look back at the financial crisis. Everyone that comes along, they always go to Jamie Dimon to help them figure out the situation. In many ways, Jamie Dimon is the real president of the United States. Although it wouldn't matter anyway. It is the central banks that run it all. You all know this. Anyway, I wanted to bring that to your attention because I think it's really, really important. So think about what that means for you. Looking over here at the market this morning, 10-year yield not doing too much, and I do expect that the 10-year yield is going to drop, as I also expect, a lot more debt buying by the Federal Reserve, keeping rates suppressed here, fostering the illusion that there is liquidity in the system and it's drying up. How do we know for a fact that this is happening other than what I am explaining to you? You got Janet Yellen, creature, whatever it is. That's what she looks like to me, as you well know, telling us that the system is sound and it's liquid. And the economy is strong. Nothing could be further from the truth. And there's no accountability there in this environment. There won't be accountability in this environment. When you hear things like that come out of the mouth of the Treasury Secretary, Chairman Powell, puke as well, you're being lied to. There's no accountability, so they can say what they want. And the people just buy it. Again, it's also the illusion of the market. It's a very, 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 very powerful thing. And people don't care. When they see their investments going higher, their 401ks, they don't care about nothing. They believe everything is fine. So this illusion is going to be fostered moving forward. I think next year we're going to see money printing, debt buying on a scale that we've never seen before. All off balance sheet. Remember, the Federal Reserve has two balance sheets. The one for the public and the one that you're not allowed to see. Most corporations have two balance sheets, the public balance sheet and the off-balance sheet stuff. Federal Reserve is no different here, okay? A lot of people make reference to the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, especially, the mainstream propaganda, because they look here. Don't look over there. Oh, you can't imagine that these institutions are maybe doing things you're not supposed to know about. Of course they are. And every one of these central banks, they are colluding with each other to dismantle the world economy, to rearrange the deck chairs. You understand? That's what they're doing underneath everyone's nose, and you're not allowed to know what's going on here. This is why I've been telling you since I don't know how long. It's every man, every woman for themselves. You got to look out for yourselves. You got to look out for each other. I always tell you, we got each other's backs. It can't be more. It's so important to have a group of people to rely on. Let me ask you this too. Why do you think it is, for example, that they don't want people congregating? They don't want people talking, like-minded people to get together. Why this is a threat. You have to understand that. When like-minded people get together, it's a threat to the system. Because they're worried that this can grow and can expand. So they keep you divided by any means possible, by skin color, by religion, by gender or sex, age, socioeconomic status. They have to divide you, all right? And they have to make these people hate these people, and these people hate these people back. Keeps you divided, okay? They locked us up in our houses. They fill us up with poison. They're making us breathe air that's basically polluted. The food. It's all a method to make us sick here, to also fulfill the agenda, the big pharma. You know all this already, but I want you to raise your awareness with all this. So anyway, stock futures this morning are slightly lower. This market is frankly stupid. It really does need to give back something. It's gone straight up for a month. And, this mechanism here of the year-end market prop up by the Federal Reserve, making sure the fat cats get their multi-million-dollar bonuses because their bonuses are based on year-end share price. You're not supposed to know that either. It's a game that they play, and they suck this right out of you and me. Okay, they create greater distortions in the market. We've never seen anything like this, people. It's so out of control, but that does not mean it's not going higher. You know my take on this. As long as they can keep risk at bay, as long as they keep buying more debt, the Federal Reserve, as long as the Federal Reserve continues to weaken the dollar, and I believe they're going to moving forward, the stock market's going much higher, much higher. Longer run, you got to be in commodities. You got to gain exposure now. These things are on sale. Bitcoin's back over 37,000. I think cryptos are a place to be, as you well know. I'm not telling anyone to go all in on anything, but I want you to ponder these things. What's wrong with having some of this stuff in your portfolio? Remember, cryptocurrency is a misnomer. These are not currencies. People don't transact in these things. People like myself who own cryptocurrencies, we hold them. Anticipating that eventually they're going to go much, much higher. I told you I was buying Bitcoin around 17,000. I've been in and out of Bitcoin so many times over the years, I couldn't even tell you. But the last time I bought it was around 17,000. I have not bought it since that time. Doesn't mean I won't buy more here. Again, the eventual meltdown in the debt market is going to cause cash to move in a lot of different directions. It's going to bleed out of the stock market. It's going to go into commodities. It's going to go into cryptos, I believe, into other things like artwork, musical instruments, classic cars, stuff like that. It's just going to look for places to go as it always does. So look, you know my take on this. You want to pick one asset, it's silver. I've been telling you this since time immemorial. It's the most undervalued asset in the world, and I don't just pull this number out of the hat. I look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average gold ratio and then gold silver ratio, trying to discern where the bottom is in this market, and we have no idea. It could be Dow 6,000, could be lower. Why 6,000? Because that's when the Fed jumped in with QE1 the last time. The market was going lower than 6,000. There's no doubt about it. In a full-on meltdown, we could clearly go below 6,000. But if 6,000 is the bottom, I think a 1-to-1 ratio with gold, meaning gold 6,000, is a distinct reality that can possibly happen, and a 15 or even maybe a 10-to-1 with regard to gold, with regard to the ratio. So anyway, people, look, that's my take on all this. So what can you take away from this video? Dozens of banks are shutting down. Dozens more are coming. A consolidation of the system is underway. You're not allowed to know that. There are bank runs going on right now. People are withdrawing their cash. Defaults higher across the board. The banks are failing across the board. There's going to be a massive consolidation moving forward. Just be ready for it. And I hope it's not you. I hope you don't get caught on the wrong side of this. All right, so take action now. If you like this video, please share it. Get it out there. Those thumbs up, massively valuable. Please give the video a thumbs up. The algorithms pick it up. It gets seen. I'm counting on you to do that if you're part of my team. I will see you later, 4:05 p.m. Eastern time for my live stream. Let's get this together. Let's get more people involved in that. Let's go over some live questions between you and I. Let's make this happen, all right? Love you a lot. See you later.